First off, I want to say, how did the Chiefs outrush the 49ers? They outrushed them 130 to 110. They didn't have more attempts. They only had one less, but they managed to outrush one of the better rushing teams in the NFL. Also, Brock Purdy got baited into throwing 5 passes over 20 yards, for which he only completed 1. Mahomes, on the other hand, threw only 3 passes beyond 20 yards, had 1 interception and 1 incomplete pass. 49ers held Travis Kelce to 1 catch, 1 yard in the first half. Chiefs only scored 3 points in the first half. However, in the second half, Travis Kelce had 8 of 9 targets, which means he caught 7, and he ended up having 93 yards. The reason why Purdy gets game manager label is that just playing overtime, you have to think that you have to score a touchdown here, and Purdy just kind of throws it away because he's feeling pressure. But I think he needs to try to make a scramble or even take a sack. You can't really bet on the fact the Chiefs are not going to score a touchdown, and that's exactly what happened. Brock Purdy was largely inaccurate throwing downfield, despite having an open man on a few occasions. One was defended by McDuffie really well. However, on a few he had some open guys that he just couldn't connect with. And I think a large part of that was because he was throwing off his back foot. Not sure if it was because of the pressure generated from the middle, but it seems like he needed to step into those throws. Purdy did have a lot of nice throws, especially deep middle and deep outs, and one to juice check that ended up being a first down, and one to Christian McCaffrey that ended up for a first. I felt like the 49ers kind of abandoned the double coverage zone on Kelce, especially in the second half. A lot of times they were seen doing man and getting burned on some really critical plays, first downs and then third down conversions. I think they kind of should have stuck to zone double covering Kelce, and just whatever they did in the first half, keep Kelce with minimum receptions and yards. They should have done that in the second half as well. I thought Nick Bosa played well. I voted him as MVP. He had 10 pressures on 48 pass rushes, 20.8% pressure rate in the Super Bowl, tied for the third most in a playoff game since 2018. He finished the season with 114 pressures, tied for the most in a single season since 2018. Aaron Donald is the other person that tied him. In 2018, he had 114. Max Crosby in 2021 had a 106. Trey Hendrickson had a 106 in 21. The next person was in 2021 was Nick Bosa with 103. Also, according to PFF, Bosa racked up a game-high 12 pressures on first review, 3 hits, and 9 hurries, and added 2 stops against the run. And that's pretty impressive considering how much the Chiefs held. I have to say, for the most part, CMC was fairly ineffective rushing the ball. He didn't really have any big plays. He averaged 3.6 yards per carry. His longest run was 11 yards. I think for the most part, that was a win for the Chiefs. And 49ers on the whole, they didn't really have a whole lot of explosive plays rushing either. I mean, Brock Purdy, his longest was 9. Elijah Mitchell, 7. Deebo Samuel, 9. Kyle Juszczyk, 2. Brock Purdy, Elijah Mitchell averaged 4 yards running. The play action pass off the zone run was a nice complementary piece that I thought worked really well, as well as the audibles that the 49ers had in the second half. When they knew that the Chiefs were going to come hard off the edge, they went back to the inside run. I thought Christian McCaffrey in the passing game was much more effective. He was 8 for 80, averaging 10 yards, a touchdown. His longest was 24. Brandon Ayuk was 3 for 49, 16.3. Juwan Jennings 4 for 42, 10.5. Deebo 3 for 33, averaging 11. Kyle Juszczyk 2 for 31, averaging 15.5. McLeod 1 for 19, averaging 19. I'm surprised they didn't target Deebo more in these short screen passes, being that he went for 3 for 33 for averaging 11. I don't want to ever hear that Chiefs don't hold, because some of these plays were very obvious that the Chiefs were holding more than they should. Some of the holds on Bosa were just, you could tell they were gripping a little too much. In an article written by Paula Levine and Elizabeth Merrill, What the Stats Say About Kansas City Chiefs Penalties, they note that the Chiefs did see some of their lowest percentages of overall game penalties in playoffs this season. They did not benefit from fewer penalties than their opponents in the regular season. Most of the time, 12 out of 17 games in the regular season, the officials threw more flags against the Chiefs than their opponents. The Chiefs were the 6th most penalized team in the NFL during the regular season, at 126 penalties, about 7.4 per game. The numbers did change during the playoffs. In all 3 postseason games, the Chiefs received fewer flags than their opponents, seeing the lowest percentage of all season during the AFC Championship game when they had 3 penalties and the Baltimore Ravens had 8. Mahomes is often seen as the NFL's darling, the beneficiary of the Michael Jordan rules, or protection calls that his counterparts don't receive. And then the 49ers get called on a hold on a critical first down play, and then the defensive receiver didn't get called. What happened to Trent Williams on this play? He got owned. 49ers had a mixed bag of success thrown over the middle. It seemed like there were some really good throws and catches over the middle, and then there were some really good defended passes by the Chiefs defense over the middle. It seems like they had a fair amount of success in the first half, but in the second half, there wasn't much there.